Hey, hello, 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 hello. Yes, it is very late. It is very late, but I am determined to adhere to going live every day for the next 30 days. And I am aware that I look disheveled, but it's all right because it's a late Friday night and I am sticking to my commitment. So hopefully there will be some grace in that. My name is Coach C. I am a parent coach. I assist parents who are struggling with stress and family discord and assist them on their journey to parental peace. I'm also known as the queen of tweens and teens because that is an age group that I love working with. I've worked with them for over 3 decades. This evening, I have a basic question I wanted to discuss with you. Are you a parent that rears from a spirit of fear? Are you a parent that rears from a spirit of fear? Meaning, are all of your decisions fear based? Is there a place for fear? Is there a reason that fear exists? And is that what moves you to move as a parent? First of all, let's be clear. In 2024, as a parent, we might be a little out of touch with reality if we didn't have any fear at all in terms of our children's safety, for example. However, there is a difference between a fear for your child's safety and a fear that your child, for example, is not going to turn out the way that you feel they should turn out. Two different types of fear. So we want to make sure that we are understanding that fear is a word that is synonymous, rather, fear comes from wanting to control a situation. In many instances, once we realize that we don't have to control the situation, that we don't have control over the situation, and nor should we want to control the situation, many times we can work through getting that fear to disappear. But there are reasons that fear shows up in your relationship with your child. One thing being protection, right? We want to make sure our children are safe from harm, of course. So sometimes we fear the choices that they make, the things that they're exposed to. Sometimes it could be a simple fear of them going from school to home every day. It could be fearful depending on the environment. There's also the fear that our children are hurt emotionally, right? We don't want that either. So there are there are reasons and there are times when we as parents deflect to fear because we want to control the experiences and the influences because in our mind that will be us keeping our children safe. Another way that we move out of fear is when we feel that we are instilling our values into our children. So if I am, let's say, if I am a Jehovah's Witness and I don't celebrate Christmas, but my child has a friend who celebrates Christmas and New Year's and all of the other secular holidays and religious holidays that me as a Jehovah's Witness, I don't celebrate. I may attempt to control the relationship out of fear that my child's relationship with their friend is going to instill the wrong values or instill values that are different than the values that we hold dear in our family unit, right? Another place that fear creeps in is when we are attempting to set boundaries. Sometimes we go beyond setting boundaries and, out of fear, seek to control our children's total life experience. For example, when it came time for the twins to go to high school, we went around, we interviewed at a variety of high schools, but ultimately, when it came time to decide, in my heart, at that time, I had in my heart the high school that I just knew they were going to go to. I initially wanted my twins to go to the school that I attended for middle school. I wanted them to go there for high school because it was top school, still is a top school to this day. And I wanted them to attend a good school. And in my mind, my experience was the experience, and I wanted them to go and have the experience that their mother had. But in the moment, when we were going to these high schools and I saw them in the midst of their interview processes with the counselors at these schools, when I stopped to ask them, well, where are you thinking? You've interviewed, let's say, 3 or 4 schools at this point. Where are you thinking? My school wasn't really on their list. They had other plans. They wanted to select another school. Now, fear could have kept my twins in a chokehold, and I could have used my parental authority and said, no, I don't want you to go to that school. I want you to go to this school. There are reasons. And I think that I know best. And so I want to make sure that the high school experience you have is a good one. And so I'll decide where you go. But when we think about this, our children go to high school and they are the ones that have to live through their experience. They're the ones that have to complete the work requirements. So there are things that involve us on the peripheral, but it's really about what our children want and need. So ultimately, if I was going to hold them responsible for producing good grades, good behavior, setting achievement bars, being overall good people, if I was going to hold them to a certain standard as they attended high school, I had to let them decide where they felt they could do that, if that makes sense. I know that so many people don't agree with that, and they would, make the ultimate decision. But there were other factors that were weighed in. Of course, the school had to be a decent school, academically and in terms of the environment and the safety. Now, I would not have allowed my children to say, well, we want to go to the school that takes us the longest to get there in the morning. It's the most unsafe in terms of news reports and police reports, etc. And the curriculum is lackluster. And that's where we want to go, as opposed to where you want us to go. Try again. So there's a negotiation. So when you are engaging with your children in a space that's not fair, there is room for conversation. There's room for negotiation. There is room to learn to trust your child, that they will be able to make decisions that are in their best interest with your support, if you have been practicing that as a lifestyle practice in your home prior to this important decision. I feel in the parenting world, that's kind of where we make a lot of our missteps. We try something once, we try something the first time, and we think that it's going to work magically. And so when it doesn't, we don't return to it because we feel we failed. That's another aspect of fear that can impact our parenting, the fear of failure, the fear of appearing to have done something wrong, to have done something not accepted, to have done something differently than someone else judging you felt you should have done it. Even more reason to run right over your fear in your biggest monster truck, because your parenting journey is not about anyone except for you, the person who helps to rear or help to create those children, and your children. Those are the only people that really should have any type of say in terms of important decisions about your children. And preparing for adulthood. That's another space where, if we want our children to grow up to be respectable, responsible, focused young adults, then sometimes we may default to the fear stage of child rearing, where everything is about protecting them from electrical sockets and hot stoves, right? Ultimately, once you get past like the age of 3, that's really not the reality. We can begin to shift from fear to boundaries, from fear to preparation, from fear to choice, communication, advocacy, and care, right? So, are you raising your children out of a sense of fear, or are you raising them out of a sense of excitement about what their future can be? Are you raising them out of a spirit of trust that you build alongside of them as you slowly increase their amount of decision making and choices as they grow older within your household? Or are you raising them through a spirit of, this is not what my parent did when I was going to high school, so I am not able to do anything differently than what I experienced? We spoke about that yesterday, right? Okay, I know I've gone way over the brief live that I was supposed to share with you this evening. But again, my apologies for the hour, for the disheveled nature of Coach C, and for the energy. I feel like I'm tired, and it's 10:30. So it's okay that I'm tired. But I needed to have this conversation with you. I needed to help help me and help you to understand that raising children through a spirit of fear is not the most effective way to raise your children. If anything that I've shared with you this evening resonates with you, gave you a giggle, got on your nerves, feel free to share. Go to my homepage, click the link, let's talk about it. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow.